Good morning, students. Okay, so today, what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be continuing on from Lab D that we just did with the regular polygons, and now we're going on to creating a circle in Lab E. Ultimately, kind of our goal here is to basically do something like this. We're going to have our cat go here and actually create a circle. Now, I kind of messed around with it a little bit, knowing that you might have to do some color variations, but I wanted to kind of mess around with it and put it through a little bit of a loop, so the cat will actually cycle through and go through all the colors itself. But I'll kind of explain that as we kind of get to the end there. But ultimately, you want the cat to draw a circle, or a simulated circle, effectively, and then have the cat bounce back into the center of the circle and not be touching the sides. In the document itself, it says make sure that your pin size is no longer larger than 10, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to have you put it at a smaller size. We don't really need to fill up the screen that much. Just understand that conceptually we can kind of get there. So, first of all, you need to open a new Scratch project, and then with the normal way that we're naming things, we're going to name it Lab E dash Circle, or Lab E dash the Circle is basically what I put. But as normal, just kind of starting out, I like to actually create that event that will allow us to clear the screen. So I always use the spacebar with it. It just makes it a little bit easier. But grab that event block that is your. In fact, let me zoom in on this so we can actually see this a little better, so it's not too small. But right here, let's grab a block from the events, your win space, grab that, and then of course from our pin blocks, we need to grab erase all, connect that, and then we can actually have like a default where we can clear it out. So let's kind of talk a little bit about the geometry behind what we're actually going to do, because we're creating a circle. But in Scratch, there's no actual circle command. We're not like, we don't just have something that we can like put the radius and have it draw a circle. So we kind of got to think this through of how we're actually going to be able to create this loop. So as always, there's different ways that we can do this. We can grab our cat, drag him up and then to the top. So we're kind of starting out in this 90-degree direction. So we start the circle at the top, and we go down around. Now, when you move them, of course, grabbing that motion block, it can actually give you that preset value, or you can always type it in. So if you want them at kind of the center, tippy top, you can always go in here, keep your X value at 0, and then for the Y value, put it at 150. Now, of course, like I've told you before, I hate that the cat is so huge. I mean, you can keep him 100. That's fine. Keeping him 100, but yeah, you can keep him at 100% if you want to. That's perfectly fine. But let's grab that go-to block, and like I said, you can just move him and grab the go-to block, or you can actually put it at 0, 150. So next, let's grab an event block. Let's just grab the normal one where we're just using the green flag to actually start off our situation. And this time we're not even gonna shrink the cat. We're gonna just keep them at 100%, good to go, and then we're just gonna put that go-to block. And even though it's the preset, also we want to make sure that he's going to be pointing that 90-degree direction. So let's go to the motion blocks and grab a point in direction 90 degrees. And like I said, that is your directional or your navigational degrees. So that 90 is basically due east. So the cat will be going in the east direction when we start out. So if you actually look at the document, you'll notice that it actually talks about using a loop to create this circle in which that we're making them draw a circle by turning so many degrees and then doing it a number of times so we can actually make sure that we can create a full circle. And since a circle actually has 360 degrees in it, the recommended thing that they do is doing 36 times and then just turning 10 degrees each time, so we can actually create that full circle. But I mean, you can do it differently. Like if you don't want it as round, you can always just do, like, let's say turning 36 degrees and just doing it 10 times. But ultimately, whatever your turn degrees is, it has to be multiplied by the number of times we do the loop, and then give you a total of 360. So we can actually turn it 360 degrees. And if you've heard the term 360 degree turn, is basically turning and being right back at the same spot. And since I've kind of messed around with this a bit, I already know that that if we set it up to where we're going to just do the 10 degree turns, and then we're actually doing it, and we're looping it 36 times. If we step about 25 times, we're actually going to make the circle to where we can actually make that full circle, and it almost covers the whole screen. So, starting out, we're pointing in that 90 degree direction. We want to grab a pin block and set it to the color. So if we come in here, and just because I'm kind of going to show you kind of the extra that we can actually do about it, let's when we select this color, take the slider for color and go all the way to 0, take the saturation, go all the way to 100, and take the brightness and let's go all the way to 100. So that is going to give us our scratch red, so to speak. And then let's put that set color block right there. And then the next thing that we need to do is we're gonna have to drop that pin down. So once we put the pin down, anytime we actually move, it's actually going to create a line. And I did quiz somebody on Tuesday about this, just to kind of see if you remember this. But pin up and pin down, just the same kind of concept like if we're drawing. If we put our pin down on the page, we draw. If we pick it up and we move, we don't draw. So just kind of keep that in mind and always remember that. So once we put our pin down, we're actually going to create the steps. But let's kind of create them in such a way and then attach them to our script that we're actually doing here. So, like I said, let's go to our motion blocks and grab the move steps block, and we're going to change this to 25. And then next, let's also grab our pin setting tool, because we want to set the size of the pin. Let's grab that and let's set that to 5. And attach that to pin down there. And then, like I said, we're going to use a control block, which is our repeat block, and we're going to use our repeat such that when we multiply it by the number of degrees that we're turning, it actually ends up equaling 360. So let's put that we're going to repeat this 36 times. Let's grab a turn block. And instead of the 15 degrees it's preset to, we're going to put it at 10 degrees. And then move 25, attach the turn 10 degrees, and put it inside the 36 loop. Connect that. And with that, let's run a test, and we have made a circle. You can see it's a nice big red circle. And then, of course, we need to move back into the center so we can actually come here and grab our go-to block. And let's just put it go to 0, 0, knowing that that's going to go to the center and attach it. But if I do that, something bad's going to happen. Let me show you real quick what happens. So if I do that and I run this code, it draws a circle, but then it draws this line down here. Oh, wait, we forgot that we need to pick our pin up. So let's come back here to pin, right? And let's make sure we pick our pin up, and then we go to 0, 0. So let's clear that out. And once again, run it. And there we go. It has given us a circle. Cat's not touching the circle, and we're good to go. So that's pretty much a lesson or lab E, and that's how you can complete it. It's basically this right here. But as I told you at the beginning, I kind of wanted to kind of step it up a notch and add a little bit of a challenge to it, because what I ended up doing was I wanted to have the cat kind of cycle through a given amount of colors. Now, when we were choosing our color there, you might have noticed that it has a slider that can go from 0 to 100. So what I ended up doing, since I had you take the slider all the way to pick that red, where we're basically preset our color at 0, what we can actually do is take all this information right here after we set the color, and we're actually going to put this in a loop. So we can actually cycle through and change the color as we go around a certain number of times. Now, kind of conceptually the same way as we were using the turn angle and the number of times we did this loop, it needed to equal to 360. The same thing is we need to do that with when we're changing color, to where however much we're changing the color by, dependent on that loop of how many times we're looping, will be how many times we do the loop. So in other words, let's say we're going to grab a repeat block and let's type 25. So then if we come here to pin, we're going to change our color, change pin color by 4. Because that 4 times that 25 gives us 100. So if we put that change and we attach it to this right here, this cycle, and then we put this all inside the repeat block, and then attach that to where we're setting the pin color, and then we reattach that. Now actually what's going to happen is, let's reset. When we do this, it's actually going to cycle through 25 colors as it goes. Cycle through, and now this part of it's not required for Lab E, so don't get that misquoted. Like initially, where I said once we completed and we made the first red circle, you're good to go for Lab E. But this is kind of like a step up, an additional little part to challenge yourself, to where we're adding the ability to actually put multiple colors out there as the cat cycles through everything. So there you go. That completes Lab E completely, even with a challenge, right? So let me actually toss this off the board. And then if you look right here, that is actually some completed code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as lab E in the circle in class. And let's save that. And you are good to go. And if you do have any questions, definitely ask Miss Stevens. She can reach out to me. I don't know if she's giving you a remind code, but you can also reach out to me via remind if she gives you a remind code. But definitely, I wish I could have been there in class. I am actually in another high school right now, so I just wanted to make sure that I set this lesson up for you via video, so I can kind of go through stuff. Miss Stevens can pause this video, kind of jump through it. Any questions that you might have, definitely ask Miss Stevens, and she can ask me later, or hopefully you guys can figure it out together, or you can also try to message me on Remind, and I might get a chance to actually get back to you. But as always, have a great day, and since it's Thursday, I want you all to have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday.